Little People, Big Dreams, Georgia O'Keeffe. Written by Maria Isabel Sanchez Vergara. Illustrated by Erica Salcedo. Little Georgia grew up with 6 brothers and sisters on a farm near Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. But while they played games, Georgia preferred to look at the world around her. At school, Georgia was always more inspired by the colors she saw through the classroom window than the numbers written on the blackboard. And when Georgia was 12, she told her mother she wanted to become an artist. She started lessons, and her drawings soon became the most impressive in the class. Georgia moved to Chicago and then New York to keep studying art. But everyone in the city was busy. They didn't have time to notice beauty in the little things around them, little things like a flower. So she decided to paint that tiny flower by putting her nose very close to it. Suddenly, the littlest flower became the most enormous painting. No one could ignore its beauty. A famous photographer named Alfred saw Georgia's paintings and wanted to share her work with the world. He put together an exhibition of her artwork. Georgia's paintings left the public wide-eyed in amazement. They just couldn't figure out what they were looking at. But Alfred understood her paintings. He was an artist too. Soon they realized they were made for each other and got married. Inspired by New York, Georgia decided to paint towering skyscrapers as only a child would have painted them. For her, the city was made of enormous squares. And when summer came, Georgia visited New Mexico. She immediately fell in love with the desert. She painted crosses, sand dunes, and even the skulls of dead animals. They were all fascinating to her. She loved every stone, every bone, and every color of the lonely desert. She painted every single day in a house nestled between red hills. Nothing was too small or too ordinary for her. Through her art, Georgia flew all around the world to different museums. They called her the mother of American modernism. And today, you can see how the ordinary becomes extraordinary when you take the time to look at it as little Georgia did. Georgia O'Keeffe, born 1887, died 1986. Georgia O'Keeffe grew up on a farm in Sun Prairie, Wisconsin with 6 brothers and sisters. From a young age, she was fascinated by the natural world. She decided she wanted to be an artist and began lessons at the age of 12. Her independent spirit took her to Chicago and then New York to study painting. After this, she moved to Texas to teach, but kept on working on her own art, creating abstract drawings in charcoal. These drawings expressed her feelings about objects in shapes and lines rather than looking exactly like the objects themselves. They were very new and different than the drawings of the time in America. She mailed them to a friend who showed them to the famous photographer Alfred Stieglitz. He exhibited Georgia's art at his gallery in New York, which helped catapult her to success. She later fell in love with Stieglitz and they married. Georgia showed her vision to the world through her paintings. She painted towering New York skyscrapers, blue-green lakes, and magnified flowers on giant canvases. Later in life, she made the first of many visits to New Mexico. This landscape was very influential, and Georgia spent hours outside painting the red mountains and animal bones she saw there. She felt truly at home in her ranch between the desert hills. Georgia's unique style made her one of the most influential and remarkable painters of the 20th century.